For a really long time, the way that you grew a service business was simple. You hired more people, more clients meant more headcount. More headcount meant more revenue, and that's just how it worked. But that model is breaking because the traditional way of scaling is based on labor. You hire talent, you rent that talent out to clients, and then you make money on the gap. The difference between what you charge and then what you're actually being paid, minus the cost of running everything. Well, it works for a while because what happens is that you hit a ceiling and you're at capacity and you're burned out and you know you could bring in more business, but that's not even the hard part because you're so taxed out for managing everything, you just can't even think about it. So you tell yourself, well, we need to hire more people, but to hire more people, we need more clients. And to get more clients, I need more hours in the day and I don't have them. This whole model of scaling by headcount is based on scaling activity. You do more, you build more, you have this menu of services, clients pick what they want and you deliver it. And oftentimes they have new ideas for you to deliver, right? And whether you realize it or not, that's an hourly mindset. And even if you're not billing by the hour, you're still pricing based on what you do, not based on what you create. And when clients see you this way, they treat you like a vendor. They negotiate, they compare, they ask for discounts maybe even. You end up watching your margins stay flat or even shrink, even when there's more revenue coming in. And then there's a different way to think about this. Instead of scaling activity, you scale outcomes, you scale impact, you scale the results you create for your clients. Now, I know, well, some people are going to be thinking, well, Mandy, the outcomes are out of my control. It depends on so many factors. The client's leadership, their team, their pricing, their systems. I can't control all of that. And I get it. That's a reasonable thing to say. But here's the thing. What if you control those factors? What if instead of taking on a client and hoping that they're going to be able to give you what you need to be successful, you got really clear on the conditions that you need to do your best work. And then you only worked with the clients who met those conditions. That's the shift. When you have conversations with prospects who are wondering what's possible working with you, it goes from, well, it depends, to a mindset of this won't happen without our leadership. I invite you to think about it this way. There are 4 tiers in how clients perceive you. And the difference between them comes down to one thing: responsibility. And at the bottom of this pyramid, you have tier 4, where you're just a cheap set of hands. You do the task, you get paid, whatever happens after that is on them. And then tier 3 is where most firms live. You're good, but you're still a service provider. Results depend on what conditions the clients give you, what budget they give you. And tier 2 is where you really have some good results. You can show ROI, but you still need certain conditions to make it all work. And the problem is that you're rarely given those conditions because most firms aren't actually clear on what those conditions are yet. Now, tier 1, very top of the pyramid, this is different. You're not waiting for conditions, you're creating them. You're leading the transformation that won't happen without us. That's the higher the tier. And the thing is that the higher the tier, the more responsibility that the firm takes on. And maybe you've seen this in your own team. You know, your best people aren't the ones who are saying, well, I can't control that. They're the ones who make things happen that wouldn't have happened without them. And here's the thing is that you can apply that same kind of thinking to the clients you work with in your own firm. I'm going to give you an example from our own team. So when our CMO came in, we didn't have the tracking in place. We didn't really know what was working. And she could have easily said, well, I'll do my best, but I can't promise results because we just don't have the data. And that's an unreasonable thing to say, but that's not what she did. She looked at the situation and said, well, I'm not going to be successful in this role unless we have this in place. So I'm going to build it. And she did. And she created a whole dashboard and things that I didn't even think were possible in less than a quarter. And she made something happen that wouldn't have happened without her. And that's the difference. And your clients need firms who operate that way. And here's the thing. Your clients don't just need your services. They need your experienced judgment. They need your insights. They need your bold leadership. They need someone who's going to look at their situation and say, here's what actually needs to happen. Here's what's going to move the needle. And here's how we're going to make sure that it gets done. And that's what tier 1 firms sell. Not activity. They sell outcomes. They sell outcomes that they lead. And when you build your business around that, and when you define the transformation, you define the conditions, and you take responsibility for leading it, then everything changes. You stop competing on scope. You stop justifying your prices, and you can stop feeling like you're on a treadmill. So if you're stuck in that loop, too buried to grow, but needing growth to get out, that's exactly what we do to help firms break through. So if you're looking at your business right now and you're thinking, we're so busy, but we're not reaching our goals as fast as I expected, well, that's exactly the problem we help firms fix. We run a short clarity call where we look at your current client mix, your delivery model, your profit structure, and we identify where the math is breaking down and what would need to change to hit your profit goals with fewer, better fit clients. This will give you a clear view of whether your business is structured to scale lean or if it's quietly working against you. If this sounds useful, you can apply for a free session using this link below. Now, a lot of people hear this and think, well, this sounds hard. And honestly, it is. The top tier firms do what others aren't willing to do. But here's the thing. Running a business where you're not seen as the obvious choice, where you're constantly fighting for budget, where clients treat you like a vendor and you have to negotiate every engagement, where your profits go down the bigger you get, well, that's hard too. So you get to choose your heart. You can keep scaling activity, you can stay stuck on the treadmill, or you can start scaling outcomes and build something that you're actually proud of.